Don't worry, I'm not gonna say the N word. I'm not gonna troll the guy.
Alright, yeah, what's up, KingPi? So I got my girl Nina Zerg to help with the co-cast or co-analysis.
I'm really
Basically,
not gonna say the N word.
we're just going to go through this and just break down
You
each
can
game.
start the stream if you want.
I'm not streaming; I'm just recording.
You can start the recording if you want.
Yeah, it's already started.
But I am definitely not gonna say the N word.
Nancy,
No, it's a different word.
nipples,
No,
Nigeria,
no,
hmm.
that's close though.
Nevada.
Very close.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see where you're going with this.
So this map, on this map in particular, you have two big things that you gotta watch out for. The first thing you gotta watch out for is drops in the late game, because uh, although in these positions it's not as likely because the drop path has to take the Zerg around the left side of the map, whereas if say the Protoss was on the left side of the map, you'd probably have to watch for drops for the whole game.
Yeah, because you get that just massive fucking main. That's what I like about 1v1 maps, is the fact that mains are a lot bigger to allow for more unique styles.
Yeah, you get dropped quite a bit. The next thing to watch out for is because your third base is so open, you might have to build more cannons and stuff around it just to prevent it from getting knocked down, because it's not as easy to fortify as on a map where, like, say, Bloody Ridge, where your third has, you have to go up a ramp to get to your third, or like Coliseum, Fighting Spirit, or um, what's another one? Jade.
Alright, good. You keep your probe there. You're scouting around, seeing how many Zerglings he builds. If he builds 6, throw down a second cannon. I'm basically going to say like the really obvious stuff because I'm not entirely sure this is the first game, so I'm not sure what your reactions are and whatnot. But it seems like your wall is actually decent. A lot of people actually struggle with walling on this map, especially the top left corner. So
Yeah,
everything looks
no,
good.
this map is actually, I wasn't paying too much attention to the build order, but I guess maybe I should. Um, but I think the core is gonna finish around. Yeah, I think around 4 minutes should be finished, so it's about right. So I don't think I can complain about that too much.
Okay, the second gateway. Alright, you're gonna go for DTs, I think.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Have to see what he's thinking here, because I'm not sure myself. I might actually have to watch the game and then go over it again,
Yeah.
which is probably the best way to do it for just like pure analysis.
So from the looks of it, the second gate's really unnecessary. Okay, you are pushing out though, so if that was the intention behind it, but you could have gotten your tech out a little bit faster. At this phase of the game, getting the tech out as Protoss is probably the more important, and then you're following it
Oh,
up.
it's super critical.
Yeah, so you delayed your zealot speed, and I don't think it's going to time up with. It might actually time up with the +1.
It's going to, but there's going to be very few zealots with it. Like, I think there's going to be something like 6 or so, but either if you're going to go Dark Templar, you need to tech to that as quickly as possible, and if you want to go +1 zealots, you need to tech to that as quickly as possible. You don't want to do it kind of like halfway, because then you're gonna be stuck. Well, you're not gonna be stuck, but the Zerg is gonna be allowed to do things that they shouldn't be able to do. And so if you see this push, if you look at the time, it's about 8 minutes into the game. And normally, if you do this properly, you want this to come out at 7 minutes into the game. You can see as the Zerg player has a lot of Hydralisks already prepared for this, and that's because the push came out almost a minute too late. If you hit at 7 minutes, typically a good Zerg player, it's just going to force them to build a lot of extra defense they wouldn't normally need.
2 Sunkens and Zerglings instead of Hydros.
Yeah, it's gonna put pressure on them and kind of mess with them. It's also gonna keep the Zerg in their base, which is going to allow you to expand, because as long as Zerg is in their base defending, you have the map is yours to take expansions on. If they're a bad Zerg player, you'll just kill them and win the game.
Yeah, getting the Dragoons are unnecessary as well right now. Zealot High Templar is what you want. Oh, that was a good storm though.
And then if you get stuck like this, you still want to keep producing probes, because I noticed that the probe production, the probe count is a little bit sparse at both the main and natural. You generally want to keep producing probes. So that when you take your third base, you have you can instantly saturate it with the probes that you have.
Yeah, and taking a third would be important. Typically, like a good solid timing for a third is at 11 minutes. And taking it at 13 is alright, but that's kind of late. But still fine. And I actually have a lot of issues with Protosses that go heavy 2 base and then take a third just in case if their attack fails. And disengagement.
So this engagement's not really a good idea, because
I mean, he cleaned it up. It looks like this third could be good, but no.
It's not. Here's the issue with this engagement. It's that it's going to end up getting whittled down little by little until there's nothing left. And right now, as Protoss, what you need is to control the map so that you can take expansions, and then you can make more gateways, and then you can attack the Zerg. Typically, when you want to attack the Zerg is when your army is as big as possibly can be. Your population is maxed out, so you can't build any more stuff. So what you really want to do is you want to max out population as quickly as possible, and then you want to start adding on more gateways, so that as your army gets, let's say, beat up in battles, you can sort of regenerate whatever you lose in fights.
Oh, he wins.
Losing this.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. Well, so I guess we can talk about some of the good things that he did and some of the bad things that he did.
Just let me know if you want me to rewind it.
I think it will crash the game. So I'll just exit the replay real quick.
So I do agree with Protosses going hyper aggressive on this map, due to the fact that it is, as said earlier, that taking the third is rather difficult.
Yeah, that's
because of how big it is.
That really comes down to style, and you can absolutely do it that way. there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, as they say in America. In America, they say there's no wrong way to skin a cat, or what is it? There's no wrong way to skin a cat. Something horrible like that.
You go with that. Your skin comes right off. Anyways, so a lot of times I like to try to play to the map as opposed to the enemy. Obviously, playing to the opponent is good if you know them pretty well, but you don't want to try to do the same strategies on every single map because it's just not going to work. So the strategy that you chose for this map, I like. You getting 3 Overlord kills with the Corsairs right off rip. That was really clutch. When you see a player going for this 5-hatch Hydra style with no Spire, you know that you don't have to continue Corsair productions, which it looks like, because you only made 2, unless I seen or like you lost one and I didn't see it. So
I'm gonna
what?
go ahead. I'm just gonna take a bite of. So
Okay.
if you hear me chewing, it's just I'm enjoying my food so much.
It's good to hear. Stir fry. Anyways, but so in this game, the strategy you chose, I don't know if it was intentional, but it was the right one, in my opinion.
Some of it, I'm gonna throw this out there. Okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going 2 base with a lot of gateways, which what I call 8 gate. I think like when you get 2 bases and you get 8 gateways, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Some of the things that made this match work were mistakes that the Zerg made, like losing the Overlords, trying to break your natural instead of containing you.
Which allowed you to get some gnarly storms.
Yeah, I mean, on Tau Cross in particular, it's really easy to contain Protoss 'cause there's only one way out. So, if you get contained on that map, pretty much your only recourse is kind of like use your shuttles to like harass them, and while you're building up a big army to push out. But one of the things that's going to make your overall strategy is going to work is having the timing, having your timing attack hit at a time that's going to mess up the Zerg. So you want, whatever you do, you want to mess them up. So if you watch your replay and your timing and your attack is coming on 8 minutes, you need to make some adjustments so that you can hit the timing at the 7-minute mark when it's supposed to hit. Then when you go 8 gate, it's going to be way more effective. You're not going to be in danger of being contained. And if the Zerg does try to contain you, you can pretty much just punch right through them.
Yeah, and kind of going off of with that whole screwing up the Zerg, every Zerg's kind of has like an internal clock to them, or like a flow. And just throwing like an extra zealot in there at the early game will kind of like throw it off course. Because there's a Protoss practice partner I have that he delayed his Cybo to get an extra zealot out. And typically if you do a standard build, you can get about 4 zealots out, but he was able to pump out 5. Which threw off my Zergling count, which allowed him to sneak an extra drone in, which just kind of threw everything off course, which delayed my Spire, and it was only for a few seconds, but that stuff adds up. But that's kind of more nuanced stuff that you'll develop over time.
If you delay the Zerg's Spire, even if you go 1 Corsair, which is totally fine, go 1 Corsair, and you delay their Spire, you can do something like end up killing like 3 Overlords, because if they're going Spire, the entirety of their air defense is going to be with Scourge. So if they don't have Scourge, well, then
Free
they're in
reign.
trouble.
Yep.
And once you start killing overlords, that's bad for them in the early game.
Yeah, like when I know my spire's behind, due to like just kind of how the flow goes with Gateway expands, um, I'll make additional overlords, knowing that my spire's late, to be able to kind of compensate for what I'm about to lose. But typically, not a lot of players kind of do that. They just eat the supply block, and then it just hinders them. So, although this game is nice, I don't know why you got the second gateway so quick. Typically, I'll see like the Stargate to really quick Citadel, and then the 3 additional gateways for the timing attack, and then they'll follow it up with the Templar Archives, and then the additional gateways if you want to, or go for an expansion. You can easily go for a third expansion with 4 gates, but it seemed like you opted for the heavier gateway count, which definitely went in your favor because he was going 5-hatch Hydra. If you ever see a player going Hydra, like right off rip, like really early, you don't even have to build that Stargate and go for just a quick Citadel timing. If you skip the Stargate completely, that's fine, as long as you know for a fact that they're going Hydra. If they have a spy, you're kind of screwed, but you'll be able to tell because of how delayed the layer is. So, do you have anything else on this game?
I'm I might in a second. Just I have to. I don't want to necessarily give away like false information or incorrect information. But what I want to do is let's see. I want to look at, let's see, build orders. Here we go. Let's see. What do we want? We want +1 speed cell at timing attack. Alright, so that is going to be 8 pylon, 10 forge, 14 nexus. For the 14 nexus, you have to cut a probe to do it, but it's all good. And that's pretty much the early game build. It says 16 gateway, 16 simulator at 100% nexus. You get your zealots at 100% simulator. You gather Vaspin gas. I guess that's pretty. That's in the build order. So I think that's a little bit intuitive, but you never know.
Send me this link when on Discord so I can link it to the video.
Okay, because then it's at 21.4. Let's see here. I'm gonna send this to Urban real quick. I don't know if this is a dated, but where's my...
Sounds about right.
Oh, there it is. I was like, where's my private message tab? Let's see. Okay, so you get your 7A score at pretty much when your gateway's finished, but it says 21 7A score at 100 gas. So your first 100 gas, want that to go to your ground weapon upgrade. 24 pylon in the main. 27 Citadel of a Dune. Oh, this is just for... Okay, this is for...
Just +1 zealot timing.
Yeah, this is
no Stargate. Okay.
Okay, yeah, this is no Stargate. So for the one with the Stargate, you usually just put the Stargate down first, and then you immediately put down the Citadel of the Dune. And once the Citadel finishes, you just start lag speed. And usually with the one gateway, you can usually have like or 7 or 8 zealots. If you are aggressive with zealots early in the game, you lose some. Your timing attack's going to lose a little bit of its punch.
So choose your poison, essentially.
Yeah, but again, against a Zerg player that's not so good, you can end up just winning outright or crippling them to the point where they can't catch up. But
yeah, that's pretty much it for this replay then. We can only dissect so much before we just start repeating ourselves. Game's up.
okay, Longinus 2. I like this map.
I hate this map.
In particular for Protoss players because when you start at the top left, your choke, you can put 2 gateways and it's completely tight at your entrance.
Funny thing is, the guy that you're playing against used to be a student of mine.
And he's not a bad player either.
I mean, I wouldn't really say I was a coach, though. I was pretty shitty. I was more of a mascot. To play more games.
So I like where you put your forge. I like where you put your forge, Airborne. No, I like where this forge is placed because you can place a cannon between that and the pylon. So if Zerg tries to Hydra bust you can put another row of cannons. And the reason I like this map in particular is because you can take one of the double gas bases, and then you have 4 gases, which means you can produce a lot of Archons, and you can produce Reavers, and you can do a lot of stuff on this map earlier in the game than you normally would be able to on other maps where you just have maybe an easy access to a 3rd gas, or worse, a map like Circuit Breaker or Grand Line, where you really have to wait for your 3rd gas because you're stuck on a base with just minerals as your 3rd. So it looks like our Zerg friendo is going Spire.
Yep, you got a quick layer.
Okay, so when you start the Stargate, you're also going to put down the Citadel of Adun.
Yep.
Oh wait, are you doing Dark Templar? Are we doing Dark Templar here? What are we doing?
Well, the guy said the natural seems kind of late for Dark Templar, right?
Okay, oh, he's going +1 air. Okay. So typically, if you're gonna do this, you want to start your +1 air as quickly as possible. So I didn't see anything upgrading, so that's why I was confused. And then now, what's your next tech path?
Oh, double Stargate.
Okay, so you're going double Stargate.
It's a good build, especially since he's going Spire opening. You're just going to be able to disintegrate Scourge, so good stuff.
Okay, and are we going Reaver?
He's going Mira.
Because well, as Protoss, we have to So if you're gonna do this, either you have to get your Templar tech or your Reaver tech, depending on which path you want to take. Normally you're gonna do Templar tech because,
Transitions well.
yeah, it's harder to control Reavers, and but on this type of map where you have the double gas, if you just dump a few Reavers at the top of the ramp, it's really hard to break it. So maybe you can do it on this map. But it's better to do that on maps with an island like Python or, let's say, Grand Line or Andromeda. Or, help me out here.
For what are we talking about with tech? I was looking at the
Maps with islands.
Oh,
The Fortress.
yeah, Fortress is a good one. Oh, what you're saying? What benefits Reaver?
Yeah, what benefits Corsair Reaver?
Okay.
Because I don't want to be like, oh, you go Corsair Reaver if
Well, maps with a lot of air advantage. I'd like to say Fighting Spirit's actually a pretty good one because all the cliffs that cut off the bases, ground armies can't respond as quick. They have to have everything pretty much pre-positioned.
I guess I kind of agree, but you can do it on any map. It's just not
Yeah.
gonna be as good on certain maps.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, like, I don't know how he got so messed up that, but this Zealot attack is doing like
Yeah.
way a lot of damage. So I think that's just gonna, like, even if you lose all your Zealots,
Oh, fucking like 18 health.
that's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. You want to get a building and it just lives. But, just run one Zealot in there and you can just kill it.
Yeah.
But typically if you do a lot of shuttles, or not a lot of shuttles, a lot of Corsairs, one thing that you can end up doing is also doing shuttles to do, like, Dark Templar drop. Because, just pause the game for a second. Pause. Let's look at his main real quick. If you look at Katya's main base here, there's no way for him to defend if you do a Dark Templar drop. You can pretty much, if you drop 4 Dark Templars in it, you're guaranteed to get the Spire. You're almost certainly guaranteed to also get the spawning pool, and then you can get the lair if he reacts to it really poorly. So that's one of the things when you have a lot of air control, that's one of the things you really want to think about is doing some kind of, either doing a storm drop to kill the drones or doing a Dark Templar drop. In this case you did a Zealot attack, which is totally fine. It did some damage, but it didn't kill any tech, it didn't kill the hatchery, and so I mean, I was on board with the idea of just...
So, when you go double Stargate, typically this is an aggressive strategy. You don't want to just rely on the Corsairs to do the damage. The Corsairs are what allow you to sneak in the shuttles to be more effective. So you need to put on more aggressive, more aggression. The Zealot pressure was good, but you would have been more effective earlier on with like a single Dark Templar, because there's no way he would have been able to combat your Mass Corsair with the army he had. He went mutas, you would have been able to shut that down easy peasy. And then a lot of people I see that go double Stargate, that go Reaver opener, are able to secure a third, because not only do they kill the overlords, they kill the mutas or whatever, they can get some drone kills, and that really sets back the Zerg player, and then you just expand on top of that with that advantage that you just got. The Zealot timing, like I said, was good. You almost got that hatchery, but now you're like praying to God that the storm that you just now started will finish to be able to deal with this. There's no type of way to deal with it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you didn't kill.
Yeah, this is why I say. This is why I said earlier. Actually, earlier I was like, what are you doing? And the reason I was saying that was not, it wasn't to be insulting or anything, so please don't take it that way. What I was, but once you put your stargates down, you have to start whatever your next tech path is. You have to start that right away.
Yeah.
And and one of the reasons is just this here because you're delaying the creation of a ground army for so long, you're not going to have as much, let's say, stuff to be able to defend. I don't like what he's doing here because normally you would have Storm, and so he's just kind of, I don't know if his micro is good enough to like actually attacking this, but he's got no lurkers. Basically, if you kill his overlords, you can just push him back with the Dark Templars. I think that's what you're gonna do. So let's just go see what happens next. I think that's probably what's gonna happen. And by the way, if you have double stargates, don't be scared of losing Corsairs because, I mean, don't just throw them away either. But just don't be like, oh my precious Corsairs, and then, because you do have to be aggressive with them, and then you can rebuild them if they get killed.
But basically, if you think about it, when you go double Stargate, it's like you're trying to kill off the overlords as you would want to kill off the siege tanks in a PvT. You're just trying to reset everything to buy you time. Because once they can get that, they're going to finally be able to push.
And he's pushed through.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you had the Sidestorm.
Sidestorm or Reaver.
I don't. Yeah, either one would be fine. I would prefer.
Sidestorm would be better because it's easier to transition out of. But yeah, he was just able to produce too many Hydras due to you not being able to do a better timing, and that's all it really boils down to. Because dropping your tech and delaying like a Corsair for like 30 seconds is fine, because then you'll be able to deal with this. Since you went for the extra Corsair faster, now you're suffering at this point. So it's all about a balancing act.
Also, I mean, like when the Hydras were coming, I mean, you had like 1,400 minerals. You could just make cannons.
An ungodly amount.
Oh my god, you're attacking your own pylon. Why would you do this? Here's my advice. Don't kill your own buildings unless you can't leave your base. No,
yeah.
I'm joking. It's American humor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it was just basically just a build order is why I'm going to boil down this game to.
I'm not. I'm just saying, make more stuff.
Looks like the game goes on though.
Oh yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Life goes on. So Kanye's it seems like his biggest issue is that he's getting like really overly aggressive. Now this attack, again, if you're behind as Protoss, when you're behind as Protoss, it's actually really hard to get back into the lead of the game.
Yeah.
But there's ways to do it. There's definitely ways to do it. But once you're behind, you kind of have to turtle up. And I don't mean stay in your base. I mean sort of control an area of the map
And
with
just
your
make
main
it
army.
and make it really hard for the Zerg to deal with it, because Zergs typically can't deal with a Protoss army.
But at the same time, can't let the Zerg expand willy-nilly, because then they're just going to be able to throw endless waves of stuff at you. So while you're protecting your area, of the map, you also want to make sure that you're doing harassment constantly. And
When the Zerg
that's
player's
not
on
you.
3 base, it's fine. It's
That's it's not. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. But I'm saying like if it gets to the point where you're behind in the game, which being on two base is not that great.
pretty much 1 base now.
But if you get behind, uh, you do have to do harassment, and you do have to control an area of the map, and that's not easy to do. And so that's typically why a lot of Protosses have difficulty playing this matchup, because they have to do a lot of multitasking and stuff to make sure that the Zerg is always on their toes or are on the heels, so to speak.
It's a good attack,
Either
though.
one of those, heels or toes.
This was a good attack.
Debatable.
But if you would have dropped an expansion behind it, then had cannons up, the third's just a little too late. If you would have taken that expansion as you push, you would have secured that expansion easy peasy.
I think, yeah, one of the reasons that attack even came close to working is because, uh, if we look at Katya's upgrades, they're actually really bad right now. And when I say bad, I just mean it like they should be.
And his saturation's like nothing.
We're 21 minutes into the game. 21 minutes into the game is Zerg. You should have your hive, which I think he got. No, he doesn't have his hive. Okay, so he doesn't have his hive, and he does not have. He should have 3 evolution chambers, but 2 is fine. He has 1 evolution chamber, and it's not doing anything. So instead of having at least 2 on the Hydras, 2 attack and 2 defense. So, and yours is pretty good, I think. Well, actually not as good as I thought it was going to be. But, I mean, it's 2 upgrades against 1 upgrade, so you're still technically in the lead.
And you just took out all his tech.
Yeah, and then all his tech is dead as well.
You just need to expand, because a good Zerg player is going to be able to defend, and then if you have a late third, it's just game over.
It's game over, man. So yeah, the upgrades are pretty important. I should mention this. And you do have 2 forges at your mains. That's good. That's what you want. But upgrades are going to determine how those big battles in the middle of the game are going to go. And if the Zerg is not on Hive, they have a very, very hard time dealing with Protoss units that are upgraded.
Zerglings are pretty much useless. It's just buffer until they can get cracked.
They pretty much have to go Hydra and Lurker. And if they're not going Lurkers, then they're gonna lose every single battle. They just can't do it unless they keep up with UN upgrades.
Yeah, so just when you do the double Stargate, you want to focus on getting your second tech immediately. Trying to expand behind a push. Typically, the rule of thumb for Protosses when I play is if they're pushing you, they're expanding, and that's from the Zerg's perspective. So it's just
Yeah.
when you do a big commitment, you're gonna like vaporize the fucking Zerg army. So not only do they have to deal with what you sent at them, they have to rebuild, and then they have to have a big enough to be able to attack you. And you expanded and started rebuilding your army as well. So that is just one of those helpful things. Oh, I get to see your hotkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you only have a. Yeah, he only has 3 gateways, but that's fine because as soon as you can pan back to your gateways, you just key them all up, which is a-okay. Once you get better, you can utilize more hotkeys, but that's obviously something that you probably already know. So, other than that, I mean, you win the game, but there's always stuff that you can still scrutinize to figure out what you could have done better. Better tech, or just faster tech with the double Stargate, either Reaver or Dark Templar, and then take an expansion. But other than that, you're able to produce an army and kill a Zerg, so good stuff.
Word of advice. If the Zerg is not going, if they're just going like straight up Hydra, like they're going like 5-hatch Hydra or something, with no Spire, just
like last game.
Don't do the double Stargate. You might already know this, but I'm just in case. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because you'll kill some overlords, but then they'll just get evos and then just take an extra expansion, and then you're fighting against static defense, and that's just never a good trade.
Also, even if your tech's probably gonna be late as well because you went double Stargates, and so because they're on tier 1 tech, they're just gonna be making like units, and so they could actually just bust your front straight up. Like even if you make Dark Templar, they can still do it because your Dark Templar is not gonna be able to chop them down quick enough in order for you to push them back. Ooh, so this map map's really good for cheesing. If there were, the entrance on this map is pretty wide open, so it's kind of hard to like evaluate how good somebody's walling off because it's actually a really, really big entrance. Also, you blocked your nexus with your pylon.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like literally flush.
Oh, I thought it was like a hex over.
See?
Okay. You're freaking me out for a second. I was just like...
Okay, with the double cannon, good stuff. Smart play.
So if you... Okay, if you ever see the Zerg go...
Hell yeah. Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Then make sure they're not digging out the back mineral. And the same goes for destination. If they get pool first on destination or pool first on Heartbreak Ridge,
Blue Storm.
Sure
you're talking about backdoors. Sorry.
Where they backdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Backdoor stuff. If you know what I mean. You want to make sure that they're not mining that mineral. If they are, just throw a pylon back there. Don't lose to that. That's just silly.
Ooh, good job stacking up your Corsair and not losing it. Alright, he's going the Hydra strategy, which is good on this map. Dark Templar, good stuff. 3-gate. Okay, additional gateways, so you want to put on that pressure. And then here comes, yep, alright, you're doing a good response to this. Let me slow down a bit. Storm.
I didn't even get to see the game.
Yeah, Storm seems kind of late. Let's rewind this. So he goes for a 4-hatch Hydra, basically. You're unable to get any scouting information because he has Zerglings at your natural. And once you finally get out, it's only because of your Stargate. So yeah,
Okay, so here's the thing that bugs me. If we go to the gateway at the natural, it produces a zealot, and then we're just done. And I know it's because I know that you got supply blocked, but um, you have to keep those. You really do have to keep those. There's certain supply is that you always put down a pylon at, like 24. Always gonna put down a pylon at 24. Like me playing a Zerg, I'm always gonna get an Overlord at 16. Always gonna get an Overlord at 24. Always gonna get an Overlord at 30. Although sometimes I mess around with that a little bit.
yeah, same.
Um, as soon as you get pylon blocked, you're you're basically
Fighting against
you're
yourself.
yeah, you're automatically going to be behind. It's like if I were playing Zerg against you and I missed the first Overlord, for example, like, or not the first one, but that would be
Well, I
that'd
mean
be
that's a
really
good
stupid.
example though.
I mean, like the Overlord at 16.
Yeah.
So if I miss the Overlord at 16, I go up to 18, and I'm just like, wow, I can't make drones for the whole time that Overlord is is waiting to hatch. So it really is going to hurt me in the long run. And that's kind of what happens here because if the gateway is not producing units, then what you're going to end up with is kind of what you saw at the end, where your opponent has a lot of units, but you have almost nothing. And that's not a good situation to be in. So, just make sure that with Protoss, especially, you have your units are they take up a lot of supply, or in your case, psi and PSI. That's how it's pronounced in English. So every time you queue up probes and then you start a zealot, that's going to be 4 supply right there. So that's half a pylon. So you're going to start another pylon every time you do a round of units. And then once you do your gateways, you're probably going to end up doing, like, you do a round of units, you're going to put down 2 pylons, and then you're going to do a round of units, you're going to put down 2 pylons. That way you're not going to get stuck.
And that way, in the future, once you get better, you can start timing in single pylons because you start to get the gist of the flow of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, and like, there'll be times where you can just like attack and you can like lose units on purpose, just so you can free up some supply. But hey, if you get in this kind of situation where there's just hydras at your front, just make cannons. Just keep yourself alive so you can get your hive. Like, even if you mess up, you miss some pylons, you get behind, there's hydras in there, put down like 8 cannons. Don't even worry about it. Just get your cannons down. Get the high Templar tech out, and then push your way back out onto the map.
Yeah, 4 Hatch Hydra. And when you see the Hydra strategy, building Dark Templar is just not worth it because, especially with 4 Hatch
Yeah.
Hydra, he's opting for the quick Overlord speed, so it's going to kind of deny it. You need to either do a heavy Zealot aggression or just get that fucking storm out ASAP.
Did you just say the F word?
ASAP?
No, the other F word.
Maybe.
I I was just trying to keep it G for all the kiddos.
Oh yeah, all the kids that want to play a 20-year-old game.
The German player Cole was 14 when he started playing.
Who's
Where's
that?
KingPi? Where's KingPi from?
He told me, fuck.
Is it Croatia?
No. He speaks Russian though.
You
or,
sure?
or at least understands it. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's late.
Because they in Bulgaria they spell with Cyrillic. But also people in the Baltics, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, they know Russian. Obviously, you know Russian if you're from Ukraine or Belarus.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta go take a piss.
You're probably gonna know some Russian if you're from like Caucasus Mountains, anywhere that's like former Soviet territory. You're gonna know a little bit of Russian. You're gonna know a little bit of Russian. This map. Oh boy, oh boy. So this map is one of those maps where the closest third base to you is a mineral only base. Although, let's say you spawn, let's just say bottom left, where you can see the purple. Like if you full screen this, you look at it, you just see the purple in the bottom left. That's where you're spawning. You can expand to the whatchamacallit, 9 and 5 position. Unless you're expanding, unless the Zerg player is spawning at the top left. Otherwise, I would, if yeah, this is one of those situations where if you take the nearest gas base, you're going to be expanding towards the Zerg. Which you might be like, well, what if I just build cannons at the top of the ramp? No problem.
Man, it's been a while since I played on this map.
So if you build cannons at the top of the ramp at 3 o'clock, you're going to hold off the Zerg for a little bit. Until you play somebody who actually goes hive, which I'm not sure Katya believes in that. Then once you get someone who goes hive, as soon as they have map control, they're gonna cut off your reinforcements from your third base, and then your third base is gonna be pretty much easy pickings. But that's the eternal struggle of protesters. They're taking a fourth base and then making sure third base doesn't die in the process.
Good job keeping your probe alive every game.
And I love the wall that you built. This is awesome. This is the way walls should be built.
Trump could take a note out of your page or your book. Well, cannot speak. I am so tired right now. Alright, so another 4-hatch Hydra strategy.
Yeah. I don't... You know... if you play Protoss, or if you play Zerg, don't do this, where you go 4 hatch Hydra, and then after you've taken the faraway expansion.
Yeah, that's really bad. Like, this is screaming from a Zerg's perspective, just fucking, like, Zealot Rush incoming. And to be able to hold it with what you have it's just not worth it. So, if you ever see this, fucking Citadel, cancel that Stargate, Citadel as soon as possible, throw down, like, as many gateways as you want, and then just kill them. Because if you would have hit with, like, 8 Zealots right now, with speed and +1, nothing. He has nothing.
So I like the little Zealot attack. I think you should send that to the faraway expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bulk of his reinforcements are going to be coming from, because his main is going to be saturated, his natural is going to be almost saturated, so that can start producing Zerglings, whereas the third base needs to produce drones. Otherwise, it has to transfer them all the way across the map in order to get them there. And yeah, this situation again, like I said, just 5 cannons, probably not going to cut it, but oh golly gosh, she whiz.
Yep, and this is why you just, like, you have to...
I think you're gonna hold this off. Because you do have don't just turn on 1 cannon, because, like, you need to live. Oh god, where's the storms? Almost there. Okay, you got enough energy. Do a storm. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, he snipes that High Templar.
That
It's
second
unfortunate.
Templar didn't have the energy, but it just scared the Hydras away. They're just like, oh no, we don't want to get stormed.
Oh, and the lurkers. Seems like this guy likes to be super aggressive.
Yeah, but I appreciate that he's trying to contain this time instead of just trying to
Yeah.
step
I
away.
thought he was going to go in with that.
If he did, I'd have to, like, message him and say, what, do you have brain damage?
The Dark Templar went for it.
Alright, so this is that situation that I was talking about, where you end up getting contained. So, you get contained, do drops, get a lot of gateways, punch your way out. He's actually going to do some drops here. That's... So, yeah, oh no, he got the robotics. That's
huge. That's game.
Yeah, if you lose your robotics, I don't know. There's nothing you can really do except storm them, but that's gonna take too long.
Yeah, so if you just see a Hydra build, Zealots are key, and then fighting the hatchery the farthest away would have done the most.
So, yeah, actually, I wanna add to that, because that's pretty spot on, and I'll tell you why. If with in Zerg, when you play Zerg, you basically, there's 3 things you can do. You can build units, you can build economy, and you can build tech. You can't do all 3 at the same time. So, with a Hydra heavy build, object of the Zerg is to build their economy first, and then build a lot of low tier units. So they're not going up really high in tech. So if you disrupt the part of the game where they're building up their economy, then they're not going to be able to do as well in the portion of the game where they need to build a lot of units. So that's why, that's pretty much why Urban is saying, do zealot harassment. Because even if you don't kill their units, you're instead of building drones, they have to build Zerglings. And they want drones. They want to get a big economy. So if they have to build Zerglings instead, that's going to mess with them. Whereas you playing Protoss, you can keep building Zealots, but you can also keep building workers. They don't have that luxury. They have to build one or the other. And if you see 2 drones, just put down a pylon where the hatchery is supposed to be, and then cancel it once it's almost finished. Because that's gonna make them have to wait until the Zerglings come out in order to. Oh, he actually built drones. If you built that, oh my god! If you built that pylon, he would be. Oh man, he would be.
He'd be
so mad
fucked.
Right now.
Yeah.
He'd be so mad. But yeah, if you block the hatchery, sorry, I'm eating and talking at the same time. But if you block the if there's 2 drones, put a pylon there. Don't let the pylon finish. That's just a waste.
Yeah. Good scouting again. Nice. You've always been able to get in their base, so that's really crucial. And then you see that 4th hatch so quick, you know this is a 4-hatch Hydra.
Yeah.
Okay, you get the 2nd gateway, which is fine. Where's the tech? The 2nd gas, I don't know, for +1 zealot timing, you don't need as natural, but
I'm just now got Citadel of the Doom. Where's all the probes at? Yeah, like, you gotta make sure you don't want to cut the probe production down. I know if you ask anybody to coach you playing Protoss, they're going to tell you this a million times, which is, don't wait, the game's over?
Yeah, replay's done, so I think he just lagged out or something.
Oh, okay. So if you have anybody who coaches you to play Protoss, they're gonna always tell you, don't stop making probes, don't stop making probes.
Because when you take a 3rd, it's already saturated, it just makes life easy.
Yeah, and it's gonna allow you to make a lot more units, because you're just gonna have extra money, and money's good.
All right. Any other tidbits you'd like to throw in?
I would say, I would really like to see some replays that you have done against have against other opponents, because I know Katya's a good person to practice with. Just I would like to see other replays and stuff, because then we sort of get to see more what happens when people go hive, because Kaya's still in that phase where he's kind of like making just a lot of hydras and sticking at with the lair tech for a little bit too long, and um, and he needs to upgrade his units and stuff. Um, also, if you don't know where to find replays, go to teamliquid.net. Type in the search bar, type replays. There's a thread called replays dot 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 dot
By
by
Zim.
Zim. Yeah, I believe it's by Zim. And I know some of the replays are a little bit older, but please watch some pros play, because you're not going to play as good as a pro gamer does, obviously, but once you watch a pro play, look at the time when they build their different buildings, write it down either on a piece of paper, or you can open up Notepad on your computer, or you can write it down with pencil and a piece of paper, and just try to remember those particular numbers in the early game, because once you start remembering those things in the early game, it's gonna really help you out a lot to get the timings that you want, because it looks like you're trying to hit it looks like you're trying to do something, but you're not exactly sure how to do it. And so the way to learn how to do something is to watch the best people possible and get inspired by them. And that's all I can say about that. I did enjoy watching your games. I hope you had fun playing them.
That's the most important.
And yeah, that's pretty much, as long as you're having fun. If you want to get better, that's awesome, because you're just going to have more fun, because you're going to get to play better players. They're going to beat you up even more, and I guess that's more gratifying.
All right. Yeah. Other than that, just try implementing the +1 zealot timing. I feel like it'd help you out a lot. Focus on trying to expand, but while you push, and I'll make sure to link the +1 zealot and the replay link on the video. And if there happens to be anyone that scrolls across this, message me replays, and I'd be more than happy to analyze them. And Nina, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like you'd be down to.
You can message me on if you want to, you can message me on teamliquid.net. Nina Zerg, all one word. That's probably I usually check it like at least once a day. So, you know.
Or hit me up on Discord, and then I'll just bug Nina.
Hit him up on Discord. I don't actually know what my Discord ID is. It's got a number in it, though. My battle.net is Deadly Feet, number 149492, I believe. And so you can message me if I happen to be online.
Alright, other than that, hopefully this was helpful, and just message me what you think about it. So, thanks for the replays. Hopefully we were of assistance.
Yeah, just keep having fun.
See ya.